Hello everybody, I'm Josh Pose and welcome to the Toss-Up. The weather is cooling off, albeit very slowly. Leaves are changing and October is creeping ever so close. Step away from Memorial Stadium for a second and make the trek across Fee Lane to Bill Armstrong Stadium. That's where you'll find that Todd Yeagley's third-ranked Indiana men's soccer program is continuing its path to a 9th star. Does the undefeated non-conference slate mean much? What will a pair of losses do to a team that was once ranked at the top? How does Holden Brown persevere through not one, but 2 torn ACLs? We've got plenty of time to play it out of the back and find a goal as we discuss these topics and more on this special men's soccer edition of the Toss-Up. The Indiana men's soccer program has seen no shortage of success in the past 52 seasons. 8 national championships, 13 Big Ten titles, and records most programs around the country couldn't even dream of. The 2025 season is now in full swing, and joining me today are 2 people with a wealth of knowledge on Indiana men's soccer and their first toss-up appearances, IUSTV's Grace Lesher and the Indiana Daily Student's Mateo Fuentes Rohr. Guys, first of all, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Last week of September. You guys are
Yeah.
doing good?
We're
Everything's good? All right, I'm going to start with Mateo here. Mateo, there's been a buzz around this team to start the season. A 6-2-1 start, a top 5 ranking. Why is this team having a so much better start than in years past?
Well, I think it's the way that they're winning. It's just different than what they've done in the past. I mean, you saw it first in that first game. They go down 2 goals. Second game, they go down 2 goals. Then they come back. 2-goal deficits. They tie the first one against the number 9 ranked Clemson at the time. Then they beat San Francisco 3-2. They just have found ways to win with comebacks. And then they had that 3-game stretch where they have 3 clean sheets, winning 1-0, 1-0, 2-0 maybe. It doesn't matter in the way that they're winning. They're winning either by scoring the first goal and defending hard, or they're coming back. And that's a thing that Todd Yeagley's team hasn't done in years past.
Yeah, a lot of struggling with goals. Grace, it's your first year on the beat, but what have you seen so far from the team that makes it seem different from what you saw maybe as a fan?
Well, I think that one thing I love about the team is that it's full of new faces and old faces, and I think it's so great, and it's something that it's a big reason why they found a lot of success so far. You know, you have the players like Palmer, Alt, and Jacopo Fedrizzi who are new to the roster. Holden Brown, who's not new to the roster, but he's now playing, and he's a very vital part to the team. And then on the flip side of that, you have players like Colin Zaduro and Josh Mayer, Charlie Hoyer, who's just coming back from an injury, and they've all been vital parts before, and they're still continuing to be super important to the lineup. I think that one thing both the new and the old players have in common, though, is that they know that IU is such a historic program and that there's a standard that is upheld, and they're super proud to be representing Indiana soccer.
8 stars for a reason. It's been a few years. Grace, you kind of stole from me a little bit, but do you see any negatives to having a new roster or a few guys coming in every year?
I don't. And I think the only thing that could have been an issue is just kind of, getting the new guys into the mix, but it really was not an issue for them at all. And so it's been really exciting to watch.
Mateo, you kind of shook your head in agreements with me. What are your thoughts?
No, I think actually that it's been great so far. And the adjustment that these players have made, especially in the back line, you've seen, there's not a new player per se, but Nolan Kinsella, who didn't play a single minute last season, has stepped in at right back and has been phenomenal. For a couple of games early on, Victor Akuma stepped in. Brecken Minzy didn't play a lot last year as a center back and has played really well to start the season. They've just been really solid, all things considered, and I think it's been great for them.
You see Ben Doe as well, but I want to go to another one of those transfers, Mateo, back to you. Palmer Alt has been incredible. It's 7 goals, a hat trick in the second half against Penn State last week. He's doing what guys like Sam Sarver and Tommy Mahalik didn't do. Why is that?
Well, I think part of the reason is that you look at not only just the 7 goals, but the 3 assists as well. He's a facilitator. He comes into the midfield, he drops in, he'll pick up the ball really deep, and he'll just play forward. He has been either, if they need him on the wing, he will dribble through people. If they need him in the middle to really contribute and move the ball out wide, he'll do that. if they need him to finish, he'll do that as well. I mean, this is one of the things that those other two guys who are program staples for the last 4 years, who are very phenomenal players and did many things for IU, including a national championship runners-up, 2 of them, I believe. Paul Morald is a different type of player, and IU is really benefiting from that this year.
Grace, Mateo is like the encyclopedia for Indiana men's soccer at this point. You got any addition to that?
I don't think so. I think he got it.
Well, conference play has come around for both of you, but Grace, they're going a little bit deeper. They started off 1-2-0 record, both losses, Michigan and Michigan State. But it's still early. Are you satisfied with where Indiana's at, given the non-conference being so dominant? But how do they change and get out of this rut?
Yeah, I mean, I know that it seems like right now that seems like they're definitely in a rough patch, but I think that they will turn it around. I really liked what Coach Yeagley said after the Michigan game when he said that losses like that were going to happen, and in the long run, they'd be better for it. I mean, look what they did. They turned around, beat Penn State 4-1, a statement win. So I think that they will be able to turn it around and kind of get it back to where it was those first few weeks of the season, gain some momentum. I also think if there's one thing we've learned about this team and that this team's proven is that they are deep and they have depth, you know, between lineup changes and injuries. They've had to change things around a lot. So I think everything that's happened so far has set them up really well for an exciting run in the next for Big Ten tournament and even College Cup.
I think I was talking to both of you guys. I was going to be booking my trip to Cary after that undefeated non-conference start. I think we even talked about like undefeated. Maybe has a team gone undefeated before? Mateo, how do you think they will get out of this in these next coming games? We'll talk about the schedule at some point, but how do you think they should?
Well, I see it as, especially with the Michigan game, that was one of those games that was sort of what we'd seen early on. They scored the first goal, so I guess that's different, but then they concede 3 straight. And then you're kind of like, okay, this game's over, and they pulled it out of nowhere. And if Paul Morrell converts that penalty, it's a 3-3 draw, and we're not necessarily having this conversation. But then they turn it around with Penn State, and then they go to Michigan State with a very uncharacteristic play all around, an uncharacteristic loss to a team that has struggled, but as Grace kind of mentioned, Coach Todd Yeagley had mentioned previously that it was one of those things where they were better than what their record suggested. So I just think that it will be a natural thing. I mean, it'll be a natural moving out of their funk, out of what they're doing right now, because they have too many good players and too many good results that we've seen so far to not think that this is going to get change.
Well, you think it's going to change. Grace, October isn't really known as October in Indiana men's soccer. It's Yeagley. It's the month of Yeagley. Indiana undefeated, I think, the last 3 seasons in the month of Yeagley. Do you think that continues?
I do. I think it could. I think that after these past 2 losses, they really have a fire lit underneath them, I would hope. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the next couple weeks.
Mateo?
I would like to say so, but there will be a couple of games that we will talk about later that, we'll see what's going to happen with that.
It's much tougher this time around, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, we'll see you guys in a little bit. So coming up after the break, Indiana goalkeeper Holden Brown joins the set to highlight his journey back home to Indiana. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Toss-Up. I'm now joined by a special guest, Indiana men's soccer goalkeeper Holden Brown. Holden, thank you for being here. Welcome to the set.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's your second season at IU. Your first actually on the field. You're wearing it right now, the 8 stars with the IU logo. How nice is it to finally wear that?
It's amazing. Putting on the jersey every day or every game is a blessing. Don't take it for granted, and just excited to be about halfway through the year and keep it going.
We were talking before we went on air that back in high school you played 2 years at Noblesville. You did
Zionsville, but yeah.
Oh, Zionsville. Sorry, my bad. And is that a rivalry?
No.
Okay, good.
But maybe with Paul Morrell it can be.
Okay. Well, you played 2 years. You scored a hat trick, right?
Yeah, my only time playing field.
Yeah, 20 minutes. That's insane, by the way. But you also played up the road at Indy 11, which was what you said, Indy Fire. What was playing in that academy like?
Amazing. They just expect the best every single day at practice. The development is key for them. Obviously, winning is important, but every day getting better at practice was the main importance. And then going out to college, getting education, getting better and better every day.
Just how important is it to go through the academy route rather than playing high school?
There's different paths for everybody. For me, it worked out the best. I was a recent goalkeeper. I became a full-time goalkeeper when I was a freshman in high school. So just getting more high-level reps was important for me, but there's something to say about high school soccer, playing for your school, playing for your friends, playing for your community. And we have multiple guys in our team that play high school soccer, and they're doing just fine.
Enough about your high school days. Let's go to college. Let's start. You started at 4 seasons at another perennial college soccer school at Virginia. You started for 2 of those seasons. What about that experience did you take and you brought it over here?
The most important thing with goalkeeping is reps, especially in game. And so just playing as, I don't know exactly how many college soccer games I played at the time I showed up here, but it was a lot. So just being comfortable once the whistle blows, not freaking out about anything that, you can't control, and just playing the game.
You have teams like Clemson and Syracuse in that ACC conference. How much does that help going to the Big Ten? The ACC might be a little bit higher on the pedestal than the Big Ten. How do you go against conference opponents when you have that experience?
Just with confidence. When you play against some of the best teams in the country year after year, nothing really phases you anymore. You could play against number 1 seeds, undefeated teams, and you have a chance. We played against teams that were better than us at UVA, and we still came out on top. So just believing that you can win every game, really. So
we head back west, back home again in Indiana. You came back here for what was going to be your final year of eligibility at IU. You wanted to compete against JT Harms. You knew that you could compete against him. You obviously have the injury that sidelines you for the season. You sit behind him. You got to travel to UCLA. You somehow did. That's what you said.
Yeah.
How beneficial is it to sit behind someone like JT?
Oh, it was awesome. JT's a really good guy, really good goalkeeper. Trains really hard every day. He's a great leader. Just watching how he operated within the team was awesome. And so, yeah, really lucky. I really wish I could have trained with him. Iron sharpens iron, and so that would have been awesome. But just lucky to be around him every day. Really good guy.
So you said you visited the media school right here on your visit.
Yeah.
What was it like coming to Indiana? You're obviously an Indiana kid. You went out to Virginia, and now you're back.
It was really cool. I studied media at UVA, but there it's more like this history. It's not as creative and fun, and I'm a creative kid at the end of the day. So seeing the set, seeing the basement, the editing booths, it was really, really cool. Something that was really important for me when I was taking my 5th year was the education, my master's program. I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. And so seeing the media school here was pretty cool. It really sealed the deal.
Folks, he animates too. Once a day, one drawing every day?
Yeah, a little animation every day.
That's incredible. But we touched about the injury very briefly, but going back on that, torn ACL in your right knee last year, less than a year after tearing the same ligament in your left knee. Obviously, it takes a physical toll on you. Your knees are not as good as they used to be, but mentally, it's tough to come back from that injury. What was your experience like?
Just taking it day to day. I think something that's really underrated within recovery of serious injuries is week to week growth. One day you can't walk, the next day you can, and like that mental satisfaction is really clear and really there. You put in the work, and the results show. And that's really cool. It's not just like you wake up one day and you're healed. You don't pout. You just get after it every day. You see the growth, and next thing you know, you're playing again.
What was the most difficult part of getting through the first one and then the second one?
The second one was the most difficult part. Yeah, I mean, I had shoulder surgery as well in college, and so that was another 9 months kind of recovery, full thing. So once I got that, not expecting it, was just kind of like, dang, that really sucks. But you get through it. Nothing you can do about it, right? At the end of the day, once I found out the news, just get the surgery and recover.
Is there anybody specific you leaned on during that time?
Brad, our trainer, is one of the best trainers in the world. Shout out Brad. He's amazing. He helped me out so much. Treatment, recovery plans. He's really, really good. So all the guys would say the same thing. Transfers even would say the same thing. He's amazing.
What was Coach Yeagley like through not only your recruitment, but through that injury?
Just like I just said, you can't really do anything about it, right? So he was really positive. Honestly, I was really scared to talk to him when I found out the news because I almost felt like I let everyone down, which I didn't because we had a great goalkeeper in JT. But just reassuring that I was going to get better and I was going to be ready for this year. Over and over again, he kept saying that, just focus on each day and you'll be used next year, and he was right.
Well, you didn't play any last year, but now you've started 8 straight matches. 3 clean sheets. Can you officially say that process of recovery was worth it?
Worth it, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It would have just been worth it if I walked again, ran again, played any form of soccer again. So the fact that I can do it with this crest on my chest means a lot.
That first match, I believe, was against San Francisco, correct?
Yeah.
What was it like going out there, just the walkout, the warm-up, the process, it all?
It was amazing, and then we went down 2-0. And then I was like, dang. But then we came back and won 3-2, so that was really cool.
Got your first win in IU
so that
uniform.
was really cool. Yeah, but the first 20 minutes, I was like, wow, dang, come on now, guys. But yeah, amazing. Warming up for a game, you can't beat it. The pressure, you can't beat it. The moment, so really, really special.
Conference play has really gone in full string. You guys have had your struggles so far, but how do you manage through that as the vocal leader from the back?
Yeah, we're going to get everyone's best, and we expect to get everyone's best. We want everyone's best. We want to beat everyone at their best. So just taking it game to game, UCLA on Friday, and hopefully we come out with a win.
I know you don't like losing, but do you take pride in teams celebrating like it's the national championship when they beat you?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Michigan State went crazy, yeah.
It is your final season of eligibility. We talked about it. You've been the peaks, the valleys, everywhere in between, Holden. Outside of winning a national championship this year, how do you, Holden Brown, want to be remembered at both UVA, first at UVA, and then at Indiana?
As someone who made the people around him better, as soccer players and as people, really at the end of the day. Not every single person on our team, not even half will go pro. And so, becoming better human beings I think is really, really important. Becoming smarter people, becoming nicer people. Obviously, everyone wants to get better at soccer, everyone wants to play, everyone wants to win. But just being someone that challenged everybody, was friendly with everybody, and really got the best out of everybody.
Holden, thank you for taking the time. Good luck the rest of the season. I'm sure a lot of Hoosier Nation will be rooting for you. But coming up after the break, Grace and Mateo rejoin me at the wall to discuss the remaining schedule. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Toss-Up. We've officially reached the final third of the show, if you will. As promised, Grace and Mateo are back to discuss the remainder of Indiana's Big Ten schedule and a non-conference game sprinkled in. Guys, it's going to pop up here in just a second like that. Look at that. So we start off with UCLA at home. That's this Friday. We'll all be there. Actually, yeah, we'll all be there. Quick predictions.
I do think they're going to win.
Out of the loss, you think they win?
I think so.
I think so.
Who scores the goal? Or game-winning goal? There
I think
you go.
Paul Morrell gets
I
back
would
on the score
agree.
sheet.
Paul Morrell. I think Collins Duro too is going to score.
I think we're really going to be heavy on Paul Morrell in this segment, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, so then you got a week in advance. You got a week. You go all the way to the Pacific Northwest, Seattle. Washington team that beat Indiana just 2 years ago here, I think in front of like a record crowd early on in the season. It's a tough team out there in Washington. It's still going to be a quad 2 game, but Washington's tough, Mateo.
Yeah, I think this one might be a draw here. I mean, just having to go out west is just already hard. Last year, they squeaked it out against UCLA, and Washington isn't much easier this year as they were last year, and they haven't been able to beat them the last 2 years, so I really think it's a draw.
Grace?
I would agree with the draw, but I would also say I think Indiana's going to be hungry for a road win after their game in Michigan State, so we'll just have to see.
Started watching Ted Lasso not too long ago, so the draw thing is still upsetting me and Coach Lasso. We go back home here, October 10th, Ohio State. It kind of changed the season last year in that rainy environment. They played to a draw against a top-tier Ohio State team. They've lost a lot of guys this year. Initial thoughts on that game? I know we're still a few weeks out.
I mean, yeah, like you say, we're a few weeks out. I can't really speak to the game from last season, but I do think that they will win that game.
So we got 2 0-1 from Grace. Mateo, third game here. It's October, by the way. We talked about it.
I do think it's a draw, again, because I think Ohio State is one of those teams that every year they seem to be a little bit challenging. They've got Coach Mazinoff, a former IU assistant, a former IU player as their head coach. I just think that Ohio State always comes in ready to play. That's cliche to say, but they're always a pretty solid team. I do think that this will be another draw.
I think 2 years ago, Joe had Matt Byrne on the show to discuss NCAA tournament. He's the eternal pessimist. I think you might be joining him in this right now. But we're going to go to Indiana's first of their last 3 quad 1 games here in Lexington against Kentucky. It was a loss 2 years ago. I believe it was a loss last year early on in the season. Mateo, I'll go back to you. Kentucky, really good program there out of the Sun Belt. Not the SEC, the Sun Belt.
Yeah, they are really good. And I will just say that that was a 3-2 victory coming
Was it?
behind.
Yes.
Michael Nessie scored the winning goal. And I do think that will be another game where that one will be a win, because I do think that IU does fare well against these non-conference opponents. I do think that this is one of those things that we see where Kentucky is always a very challenging opponent, but I do think that IU will come out with the victory on this one.
Grace, he's excited about this
I
game.
was going to say the opposite. I was going to say that I could see it being a draw or a loss, just because Kentucky is a very talented team. I think it's going to be a close game, maybe like 2-1 at the end. But
You got to give it to me. Is it a loss or a draw? She's not going to
I'll go draw.
Okay, so 2-0-2, and we got 2-0-2 as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so no losses right now. They're still unblemished. We go back into conference play. They play Hanover. D3 doesn't really count to the RPI. All right, we're through the 4. Wisconsin. Another tough team last year. They lost a lot this year. I believe this one's also on the road. Or no, it's at home.
No, it's at home.
Because it was on the road last year.
Yeah.
Mateo.
Here.
Mateo is our encyclopedia.
Yes.
This is what, year 3?
Year 2.
Year 2?
Oh.
Feels
Year two
like
on the
year
beat.
3.
Year two on the beat.
It feels like year 10 for you. Grace, it feels like it's our first year. Wisconsin, Grace.
I think that they're going to win. I think that IU will definitely win that game.
Okay, 3-0-1.
I don't
3-0-2.
think this is going to be a necessarily close game. I think Wisconsin's a lot weaker than they were last year. They lost Dean Boltz as the #1 overall draft pick in the MLS Super Draft. He's already playing for Chicago Fire. That's a big loss. I just don't think Wisconsin will be as good this year, and I do think that they lose.
They lose.
IU wins.
lose.
Wisconsin loses.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew you're the eternal pessimist, but I didn't know. Maryland, one of those college soccer, like, new bloods, but also blue blood at the same time. Mateo. Actually, I'm going to go with Mateo. Back to you.
I think this is their first loss. I think
It's on the road.
I think on the road, Maryland, once again, another tough team. They are always a top competition. I think that this year that they do lose in October.
Grace.
I think once you get to these last 3 games, it's hard because it is so far away, but I would agree with the loss.
Okay, so 1 loss, 1 blemish, so it'd be 3 blemishes on the conference slate. All right, 2 more games remaining on the road at Northwestern. No more Justin Weiss revenge game. No more Justin Weiss on the other side either. Grace in Evanston. It's a tough place. They lost a couple years ago there.
I know. I know that it's going to be a away game. It's going to be a tough environment, but I think that they'll win this game. I think that it's going to be a good one.
Mateo?
I do think this is a win for IU. I just think that they are a better team, a more talented team than Northwestern.
Well, it's October 31st. That's Halloween. I'll go with a win. It's spooky time out there in Evanston. I'll go with a win. But if you guys do go, you got to make sure, bundle up if it's cold. You're going to be outside the entire time. Final game of the season. Rutgers at home. One of those teams that is borderline quad 1. Indiana has a chance to end their season on a strong note. Mateo.
I think that IU wins this. I think that this will be one of those games that will really, really matter. It'll come down to the last game of the season where they're going to be competing for a Big Ten title, and I think that they will come out and win. I don't think necessarily that means that they will win the Big Ten Big Ten regular season. I'm not sure yet, but I do think that they'll win that game.
Grace?
I would agree. I would say that Indiana is going to win, last regular season game before tournament starts to ramp up, so I think they'll win that game.
All right. I told you guys the rest of the regular season schedule. I told them we're not going to do any tournament. That's way too far away, as if November 3rd is not far enough away. Team MVP this year. Don't say the obvious. Are you going to say the obvious, Grace?
But would you say that Paul Moral's the obvious?
That's the obvious choice.
We were just talking about this.
You guys are going with the
for
obvious.
me, it would be between Paul Moral and Holden Brown.
Okay.
So I would have to go Holden Brown, though, to be honest. He had.
Okay.
I think about that game against St. Louis. That was such a really, really impressive performance, and ever since then, he's been playing really well.
Mateo's off the hook now. You can go with the easy one now, Mateo.
Well, when Grace and I spoke about this, I said the same thing. I don't think I can go with the obvious. I think that the obvious answer is Paul Morrell, and I think he very well could be the MVP. But I also think that Josh Mayer in the center back position is one of the MVPs of that team as well. I think he just brings a different level to their defense when he's out there, because he was out for, I believe, out in the first game, then was out for the next 3 games, and the defense just kind of struggled for a bit, and I think that with him in the field, they're just a lot better.
See, this is why I brought them on, folks. These people, they are going to do the most productive players, the most valuable players, not the most goal scoring or the stat filling. Guys, thank you so much for being on. I look forward to being with you guys the rest of the season at Bill Armstrong Stadium, maybe even into Cary, North Carolina. I'm not going to book my ticket quite yet.
Yeah.
I think you guys shouldn't either. Before we go, I want to give a quick thanks to Joe Cronin, Emily Fox, and Luke Brenneman for allowing me to host this show. I've always wanted to do this, and I'm glad they gave me the opportunity. But that does it for the show this week. Be sure to continue our discussion and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports. With that, there's only one thing left to do. Toss up this fake soccer ball and see if Joe can give us a good touch for next week's show. We'll see you then. So long.